I wanted to tell you a story about um, monks and cows' teeth. This is a story that it's kind of a joke. I think it's funny. Pretty much nobody else does, but um, it's about reasoning by authority, and it sort of pokes fun at reasoning by authority, and it sort of makes sense in that context. But of course, it has a grain of truth to it, and then that's about it. So let me tell you the story. Once upon a time, there was a monastery full of monks who were sitting down to dinner, and there were people on one side, about four monks on one side of the table and four monks on the other side of the table. And they were having a spirited argument, and they were arguing about the number of teeth that a cow has. And on one side, they're saying cow has 30 teeth, and it says so in Aristotle, so we're right. And on the other side, they're saying no, 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 the cow has 32 teeth. It says so right here in Plato. So they were arguing back and forth, and they were citing the book's chapter and verse and pointing out exactly where this happened and insisting on being right. And then a young monk who had just come into the order overheard them and came walking up and plunked down his tray and said, guys, I have an idea. We have a lot of cows in the pasture out behind the monastery. Why don't we go out there and count the teeth that a cow has, and then we'll be able to solve this. And so the entire table on both sides jumped up and they thrashed the young monk and sent him away without any supper because they were very, very unhappy with him. See, there's the story, and I think it's kind of amusing, but nobody else does. So the idea is um, the the two sides of the table, the established monks were reasoning by authority because they're looking in the book, and the young monk is really an empiricist because he wants to go out into nature and count or find things and actually appeal to the data in the solution of an argument. Well, so if you go into psychology departments, what you find are these people who want to solve the arguments by appeal to the data. So they're empiricists. Um, but as we've seen, uh, we're motivated in the things that we do. So we want to believe certain things and we want to disbelieve certain things, and we like to gather evidence that supports our belief, and we like to discount the evidence that doesn't support our belief, and so forth. So it turns out to be kind of tricky, even though we say, if authorities can be wrong, yeah, they can, but we still we still look to them because we don't frankly have the time to investigate everything ourselves. I mean, if you have a big argument about the number of teeth a cow has, then maybe it's worthwhile to go count them. But I don't care enough to do that. So there's other stuff I got to do. All right. So I would like you to actually go watch these videos. These are both about uh, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, and the idea that these these vaccines lead to autism in children. So if children get the vaccine, they're more likely to have this terrible, horrible autistic condition. And so a lot of people think that's the case, and so they don't have their kids vaccinated. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to the news, but um, there are definitely problems with not having a vaccine. So people get diseases of various sorts, and then they spread them to, especially to other people who didn't get the vaccine. Uh, but that's really neither here nor there. What we want to know is what's the relationship between these vaccines um, and autism. So I want you to watch these two videos. The first one is about a retraction of the article, and the second one is an interview with a guy who believes that the MMR vaccine causes autism. And I want you to think about, first of all, what are his claims? Why does he think vaccine leads to autism? What what evidence is there on either side? And how compelling do you find it? And if you really wanted to do this study that would be conclusive, that would let you know what you need to know in order to decide whether these vaccines cause autism or not, what would you do? All right, so go take a look. Okay, so I'm hoping that you actually went and took a look. And what you got to think is now we need an experimental group and a control group. So we need to know uh, people that got the vaccine and people that didn't, and then did they get autism or not. And the ideal study, of course, is to randomly assign people to treatment, but that's going to be an ethical problem in this case because we're going to deny kids vaccines if we do that.